Welcome, everybody. And if you want to have your cameras on, you are more than welcome to. My name is Josh Zimmerman. I'm the co-chair of programming for the Creators Guild of America. And for those of you new to the Creators Guild of America, we are a 501c6 nonprofit organization dedicated to protecting and promoting the rights of digital creators. If you're interested in learning more, you can visit creatorsguildofamerica.org. And we would love to have you be a member. We are really, really excited to be bringing this incredible panel of all-stars together called Build the Right Team Around You with our moderator and advisory board member, Phil Ranta. Phil, I'm going to throw it over to you and have you take it away from here.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I know Hunter's hearing my vlogger voice for the first time here. This is an awesome panel. It's one I've been excited to do for a few months now. I've been pushing the Creators Guild to do it, partially because it's kind of one of those big existential problems for creators as they get larger in their journey. How do they build the right team around them? How do they make sure that they're bringing the right people onto the bus so that they can drive to the right school? Let's go with that metaphor. Awesome panel today, as Josh was mentioning, and I'm so excited that everyone's gonna able to come together for this. Thank you all for your time in advance. But first, we're gonna go around the horn for some quick 30-second intros. As Josh said, I'm Phil Ranta. I am the on the advisory for the Creators Guild of America, but also I'm the CEO of Fixated, where we are building companies around creators. So let's get a quick intro from everybody. I will start on my screen with Dylan Huey.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. I am the founder and CEO of a company called Reach, which started off as a national student organization across 75 plus universities with 3,000 college members, all influencers, and we've grown out the business to much larger. So we do some marketing, we have a talent division, we have a ventures division. I'm also a part of the Creators Guild, so super excited to be here. I'm also a creator myself. I have 6 million followers, get 20 million views every day on Snapchat, managed a few creators when I was growing up. So yeah, super excited.
And Reach is killing it. Make sure to look them up and to help them in any way that they can because young people are our future. So next on the list, Hunter March, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Hunter March. I am a former Awesomeness TV employee turned television host and went to Game Show Network and then Netflix for Sugar Rush and Blown Away. And then I was on E! News for 650 episodes. And then they canceled the show and everyone was mad. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going back to YouTube. And I started a company called Poppies Studios with my business partner, David, and we started in February, and it's been a real dream. We basically do a lot of dating content, but with creators. So all of our talent is creator talent.
Super fun. And make sure to check out Poppy Studios on YouTube. They're crushing it there. Next on the list is Meredith Jacobson. Hello, Meredith.
Hello, hey everybody. My name's Meredith. I got started in the industry 10, almost 11 years ago through Studio 71 when it was still Collective, and then Branded Entertainment Network. I moved back to the Boston area and started a consulting company in 2019. I've been working for both brands and creators for the last 5 years, and I run a business called Offscreen Resources because my network is huge and I love connecting people. So I connect professionals in the industry with jobs behind the scenes. So campaign managers, executives, marketers, and I also support creators, helping them find talent managers and people who can help them operate their business. And that stemmed out of my work over the last 4 years, managing the creator dad advice from Bo.
I love it. Coming up next, Larry Shapiro. Hi, Larry.
Hi, thanks for letting me participate with all these great panelists. My name is Larry Shapiro. I was a former agent at CA for many years, started the video games division, being the first agent in town doing that, and then went into the multi-channel network world where I met Phil and Hunter and worked with those guys. And I am now the co-founder and CEO of a management company called the Creator Society. And we work with a lot of creators across the board, with a hard focus on affiliate marketing platforms like LTK, Collect the Voice, and Chat My, and we are building businesses around our clients.
I love it. And last but certainly not least, hello, Peter Hollens. Thank you for joining from the airport. TSA announcement.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Peter Hollens. I've been doing the dorky acapella thing on the internet for about 13 years full time. A couple companies, ecom, creator education, an in-house creator company, placing creators internally at companies, and 10 million followers, 2 billion views, dorky stuff. And I love helping people build stuff and helping people learn stuff. So I'm here to help in any way, shape, or form. A huge fan of all you guys, and thanks for letting me be part of this.
Absolutely. No, thank you for joining. And please be active in the chat. If you have any questions, please let us know. We gathered all of your questions from the RSVP as well, and we're going to try to make it through all of those, but we got a lot of them, so we'll do our best. And if you want to keep the conversation going, please follow all of these people, including the Creators Guild of America, on LinkedIn. But let's start with the first question. And this might be a good one for Hunter as somebody who is a creator actively building a team right now. How do you know when it's time to bring on your first team member, and who should they be? Should it be a manager, producer, shooter, editor? What do you think?
Yeah, we definitely are building our team. We went from 1 employee in February to now we have about 8 employees as of kind of closing up on the year. I think it really depends on what your needs are. I mean, some people are incredible editors and, that's their favorite part of the thing. I hate editing. I can do it, but it is so time consuming. And I think it becomes a balancing act between there are some creators who love doing thumbnails and they'll never give it up. My business partner, David, he runs the company with me. I always get mad that he spends 2 hours on thumbnails, but he's Mr. Beast in his insights on what does well, and a thumbnail is really important. For us, our biggest bottleneck was editing. You kind of just have to look at where your bottleneck is, where things are being held up, and that should be your first hire. And if you don't know what that is, if you have no idea what a bottleneck is and you've never had to hire, maybe you should get a manager who can maybe help you make those insights, or even find friends in the creator economy, who've been in that situation and can kind of be like, hey, just looking at your business model, this seems like the thing you need help with. In the beginning, I feel like the first hire is hard and then the next few are easy, and then it gets hard again because you need to, start really figuring out who's necessary at almost like C-suite positions in your company at a certain point, which is a really daunting task.
No, it makes sense. As the money goes up, it gets tougher. And Dylan, you're working with a lot of people right now who are, let's say, younger but big, right? So a lot of them don't have teams necessarily, and they're probably considering a lot of this. How do you advise them in terms of scaling out their team?
I think there's a few things. I think Hunter hit it pretty well. First figure out what you don't like to do in this space, because if you are doing a lot of stuff you don't like to do, you're going to get burnt out in the creator space very quickly. So it's one, figuring out what you don't like to do. And then two, figure out what you're overwhelmed about. If you're getting a lot of inbound and you just can't respond to the inbound emails, then it might be time to get a manager or an assistant or someone who can help you respond to emails. For me, I've always been someone as a creator myself who loves responding to emails, who loves reaching out to brands. So I've never kind of had a manager on my side. But for me, I also hate editing. I also hate the filming part of it and making the videos, which is why Snapchat's a great platform for me. But especially when I was on TikTok and all the other platforms, I would hire a videographer and an editor to make sure my content is pretty industry standard. So I think for a lot of people, finding the right time is very individual, but it's about what you're overwhelmed about, what you don't want to do. That way you can really figure out what your strengths are, like any startup. And I think a creator is a business and an entrepreneur, and really kind of leverage their strengths to help grow their business themselves.
I love that. And Meredith, I think you probably have an interesting point of view on this because you're doing a lot of those placements, right? Once people kind of know what they want a little bit more, I assume, or maybe it's earlier in the funnel than that, you're helping them find the people that should join their team. So what kind of challenges are you seeing these creators having that you're trying to fill the needs for?
So I think that ultimately one of the biggest problems in our industry is just the labeling of what we're calling help. And I think that the place to start, I'm not really answering your question, but it does. It's like the place to start is knowing why you're doing this and what your goal is and what your vision is, because there's plenty of creators who this is going to be their full-time path. And so if you're doing that, then everything you guys are talking about, content support or business support, like that's where some of the challenge lies. But in terms of, in terms of challenges, I mean, the challenges are everywhere. For big creators, it's having enough time in the day. And, for small creators, it's not having enough money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The money part, definitely. Speaking of which, Larry Shapiro, you are doing a lot of kind of, I guess, being part of their team as well. Like a lot of why I love that the Creator Society is being represented here is you have people hands-on doing work for your creators, as in hitting the upload button and designing assets. So, where do you think that makes you fit into the greater ecosystem? Do you consider yourself a management entity, a fractional services entity, or a little bit of everything?
It's a little bit of both. We're a management company. We represent creators on a 360 level. The creators that we work with, though, do want to build out an affiliate pipeline. And affiliate marketing is very high touch. So whether you're making the collages and the uploads, and there is a strategy for that, the big picture question to, big picture, my comment to the big picture question is understanding really what you want to do with your career as a creator. And that's going to kind of tell you whether, because if it's all about brand deals, okay, well, then look for those kinds of companies that just focus on brand deals. But if you're getting a lot of incoming, then maybe you just bring on a lawyer or work with a lawyer to do that if you want to hold on to that thing. So it really is about where you see the big picture and where you want to plant your flag, and that's going to kind of help you figure out how and who you want to bring onto your team.
I love that. And Peter, I think you sit in a very interesting position in that you are a mega creator, tons of followers, tons of success. But every time I see a cool company, you are in their deck on their advisory board. And so you are working as both somebody who is trying to tie into the teams of these creators, but also outside. How do you kind of define value on that side in terms of how you work as a member of someone's team, whether it be through tech or physically, or how you build out your own team and how that integrates?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on your first question and I'll try to get
Sure,
there.
sure.
I so recommend having creators truly embrace every facet of becoming a digital media company as a creator, so that if and when you're able to replace different facets of your business, you can adequately communicate and know when you are or are not being taken advantage of. Also, to everybody's point here, really understand like what you love and what you don't love, and when you are needing to get an EA to maybe become a mini you, replace them in comms, replace them in teaching them some junior editing skills. Hiring a contractor is really easy. There's so many incredible companies out there. Once you finally move to doing the full W2 thing and building up and like building a tech stack and using Slack and Gusto and doing this like the legitimate way, that gets a little bit more cumbersome and hard. And I think that's when it's really good to reach out to a peer that might be at the next level above you and ask them what they're doing. As far as like working with companies, I think in order to be like a leader in this industry and try to help creators not be taken advantage of like they have been for decades, it's so important to me to understand the companies that are truly providing value versus just being the next iteration of the MCN, the next predatory or whatever. And so I really like diving into the companies that I feel have the best interests in mind for my peers. And that's always been such a love of mine, to help people build cool stuff, and have been really lucky to be able to work with some companies like that. Your second question, I already forgot, so I will stop rambling and mute myself.
No, that's fine. In fact, what this leads in so well to the first viewer question that I would love to just skip ahead to that, because the first viewer question is, what are the common red flags when hiring? Which I think is kind of part and parcel to what are the red flags in terms of anyone that wants to join your ecosystem, whether it be the MCNs of the past or going forward, that you should keep your eye out for.
Can I take that?
Yeah, for sure. Jump on in.
All right. I think the first thing is you have to ask them what they're doing and what they've done in the past that is related to what they're doing. And if they're not transparent with you about the services that they're offering and the way that they're going to support your business, and if their background doesn't connect to what it is that they're saying they're going to do for you, that's your red flag.
That makes a lot of sense. And Peter, who have
Yeah.
you? Oh, sorry, Larry. Do you want to jump in?
Oh, go to Peter, and then
Oh, sure. Yeah, Peter, you mentioned that there was
No,
predatory
go to
practices in the
him.
past.
I'm dealing with this.
Okay, no, by all means, Larry, go ahead. TSA.
One of the red flags for me is when a company says, "Look, we'll do everything, right? We'll do your taxes, we'll do your accounting, we'll do your management, we'll do your like literally." I like building a team with a different business manager, a different accountant, different lawyer. When you get under one roof, that's too much control for a potential company, and you don't have any visibility, and there's no checks and balances. So those are, those are kind of the red flags for me. And when they can't point to a specific win or talk to some of our clients, see what they think. But when someone says, "Oh, we do everything for you," I shy, I get nervous about that.
Totally. I think the checks and balances point is absolutely key. Peter, are they done talking?
Yeah. I think in regards to some of what y'all have already said, I think being able to speak to previous clients is so important. This entire industry is so based upon word of mouth. The companies that have been able to succeed really don't need marketing, don't need to pay marketing, because we already know, like, 3 friends told me that this is legit. I'm doing it. I don't even need to be sold. I think if you are unable to adequately and transparently let us know where the money is, where it's going, or if you have the most ridiculously long contract in the history of mankind. I mean, my Sony contract was like 75 pages. I'm like, I should have known before signing that thing that this was a cluster. I mean, yeah. I mean, trust your gut, man. You got to trust your gut. And if you think that somebody's going to make you famous or make you rich because they're a manager and agent, like, come on. Yeah, sorry.
Makes a ton of sense.
No, that's to touch on that, the representative, depending upon how you build your team, you're only making anywhere from 10 to 20%. So the creator is always going to have to do most of the work. So don't think your answers are solved just because you have someone on the team.
Absolutely. I can't even tell you how many creator friends I know that signed with a 3-letter agency and thought that they had made it to the top of the mountain. It's like, nope, the journey's just beginning.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the next question, which I think is really relevant to Dylan, working with so many people who are kind of like college level, about to launch into their post-college careers. What qualities should people be looking for in a new agent or manager if they think they're at that level? And what are the questions they should be asking to vet them properly?
That's a great question. I think that a manager, a management company, an agency, I think it's very interesting. You hear a lot of different creator management companies, and there's thousands of them at this point. I think that the first deception is asking your peers that are in very different niches from you, your experience with a management company, because being a food creator, being signed to one management company, and having a bad experience, and you're a lifestyle creator, could be vastly different. And I think that that's a big misconception when I hear that a talent management company isn't a good talent management company from one of my peers. It might be a great management company for another creator. So I think it's really figuring out some of the brands that they've worked with and the niche in the space that you want to be, because they have those relationships. If it's a talent management company that's only been working with sports related creators, it's probably not a good fit for someone who's trying to be more of a lifestyle creator, because those buyers that talent management company has relationships with is probably not the best company. I think that's kind of the first thing. I always think of a talent management as an extension of the creator, especially to be able to kind of bring in multiple networks together. Where the talent manager has their own networks, the creator has their own networks, and you have the inbound and the outbound on deal flow. That's kind of my first thing is rely on what you hear from creators who are in your space rather than creators overall. Every creator's experience is very different, and you obviously want to find a talent manager that's going to put their best foot forward to help you grow. There's a lot of talent agencies and management agencies that sign hundreds of creators, and you want to figure out, are they going to really dedicate a lot of time for me, or am I just going to be one out of 500 creators signed with this agency? Where are their priorities? What do they have relationships with? Are those relationships in line with what I want to do as a creator long term? Because most creators want to grow their business and expand maybe in the social media space or outwards into the music industry or the entertainment industry, other factors of the entertainment world. So there's a lot of different things when it comes. It's a very individual experience. And like I said, one person might love a talent management company and then someone else might hate it.
No, I think that's absolutely key. And there's different managers, different within each org could act differently and things like that. But yeah, I would love to bring Hunter into this too as somebody who's been on both sides of the coin at awesomeness, but then also as a successful, let's say, mainstream television host. You've seen you've been the asker and the askee. So what do you think has been most valuable when you've been vetting for potential management? You're muted. The most valuable thing is a manager that tells you to unmute. There you go.
That's a great point. I mean, I'm pretty hard-nosed with some of it. Like I am more of a I love due diligence, especially after seeing it from so many different angles. And this might seem mean, but pin them against each other. Get to like don't lie, don't ever do that, but literally say, I am talking to a couple different managers. If you are in a position where you can have multiple people try to woo you with their services, let them, especially like we're looking at like financing for our company right now. And the first deal we got was like, hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars at a 30% recoupment fee. I go to someone else, they say, oh, we can beat that. I go back to the first person, they say, yeah, we can beat them. And all of a sudden it's down to like 9%. You can do that with every single facet of the industry. And if you're not in a position to do that, meaning your product isn't desirable enough yet to have competition for its access as a manager or an agent or funding or whatever, same with like, employees. Hopefully you're in a good place where you can hire the best employee at a fair price. But if you constantly find yourself having to sell yourself, sometimes it's good to reflect inward and be like, okay, well, how do I make my product more appealing so that I'm in a position of power when it comes to these conversations? I remember as talent when I was with UTA, I've been with UTA for like 12 years. They're great when there's opportunities. And then when there's not opportunities, they don't do anything. And a management company is going to be the same thing. Everybody's going to be the same thing. There's no magic button that these people have. It is opportunity based. And you are the only thing that guarantee those opportunities. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're like, my manager isn't doing anything, sometimes it's the manager, but a lot of times it's just the product. You have to make what you're doing amazing and undeniable. If you are undeniable in the space, things will come to you. And it sounds like really pie in the sky, but it's not. It is just a matter of doing something, reiterating, making it better, speaking with someone else, like, really, really doing the due diligence across the entire board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those views on Poppy Studios are undeniable. So totally get your point. I saw Larry, you were trying to jump in there.
Well, I was going to say, some of the questions to ask are, what have been some of their wins, right? As a manager, what have been some of the wins? What are the great things that you've done for some of your clients? That's going to be really important. And then another great question to ask if you're interviewing managers or agents or whatever is, why me? Mm-hmm. Right? Because with our clients, we like to sign people who we literally are excited to get out of bed for, right? And so really ask the question, what attracts you about me? What do you think, where do you think you could take my career, or what are some of the ideas that you can bring to the table? And ask those questions because you'll get insight to how they think and how they might set a strategy for you.
I love that. Yeah, somebody who's as an operator, not a manager, I 100% agree. Being able to like have people that they want to get out of bed for X reason and specific goal setting, I think is exactly right. I would love to pop over to a different question, and for Meredith on this one, because I know that you're working with a lot of people for offline resources. Should a team be employed on a part-time or full-time basis?
I mean, I think that it depends on who you are and what size you are, but let's assume that you're not in a point where it makes sense to have a full-time team. I would say part-time. And I also, as everyone was just talking, I was thinking about you shouldn't hire a manager unless, like, if you're looking for somebody to call brands for you and to pitch you because you're not getting inbound, you don't need to hire a manager. Here's what I think you should do. I think you should hire a marketer for 3 months. You should get a subscription to Apollo. You should have that marketer get the contact information for every single one of the brands that you want to work with. You should have them reach out to those brands and CC you on every single email and explain exactly why you are interested in partnering with them, and then let the cycle go.
I love that. Hot tip.
But that's also falls in line with what are your goals, right? If you're looking to build a business, or if you're looking for just deal flow, there are certain ways to build your team.
Exactly. And then once you have, like, the manager piece comes in when you, like, the things that you were talking about before, Larry, when you need to set a strategy and you are in a place where, like Hunter was saying, that you're desirable, like, that's how you get to that step.
Yeah.
No, it makes a ton of sense. And yeah, I know it's been said a million times, but I feel like it warrants saying again, is that if somebody says, all I can do for you is get you brand deals, that's a really tough one, right? Because that's that first of all, not really management, but second of all, everybody says that they've got the best context for brand deals. So how do you compare apples to apples? It's very, very hard. So definitely sympathize there. Peter, another one for you, because I love this for you because you work with so many companies, and so these companies, probably to woo you in, had to ask about this. But what does the incentive structure for a team look like? Like, if you've got an editor or manager, obvious, right? Generally 10 to 20%. But if you've got an editor, are you just paying them a flat hourly rate, or is there more creative ways to do this?
I mean, I've always really liked to be able to put in the time and resources to onboard people, and then I am their one and only. I would rather overpay and be the number one priority for somebody, so that when I can move really quick and I can trust that that person's there. Lucky enough to have that capability. I think earlier on, it's very important for you to run the numbers and see what your time is worth and where you can spend your time. If you can make more money, love it. Love it. I love it.
No, it's perfect. TSA is back. But yeah, no, and I guess the another question this leads into, and I'll leave this open to anybody, is a lot of people are bringing on team, especially in the early days, on a revenue split basis. So I'd love to just hear thoughts on the upside of that and the downsides of that, if you've got either a strong opinion on either side.
I have a thought on it. One thing that I think is, again, going to this idea of, like, put yourself in a position of power, right? You have great content, and, build the field and they will come. Like with Poppies, I wish I could show you guys right now just through our Notion and our submission, but we probably get like 3 people applying to work for us every single day. And it's just because we put a hiring link in every single video. There's also the option to put internship, and probably one out of every 3 people are from Los Angeles and they want to work for free. We never hire an intern longer than 2 months, and every intern we've hired has turned into a full-time employee. It's a longer play because it involves a lot of training, but if you put in optimizations, you don't even have to do internships. You can still pay someone, but pay them a smaller amount in the beginning, build them with you, because what you're doing is probably so unique to you. Like, no one, if someone hasn't worked for a creator similar to you, your job that you're going to have these people do is so unique, which is why we rarely hire people who just graduated from like USC film school. We don't hire people who have been a part of a film union, because that experience that we'd be paying for is not worth anything to us. We retrain everyone to kind of mold our thing. So the reason I bring that up is there are obviously times where you can do some sort of rev split. Maybe like Meredith said, like we have a salesperson who's on our staff that just does a sales split for us and they get commission. But in terms of like our editors and everything, everyone is working under the impression of growth, and everyone has grown since they've started, and they bring in their friends. And if you kind of believe in someone, putting them on some sort of payment full time usually pays dividends back to you, because they become like the biggest advocates for your company. It's like you took a chance with them and they take a big chance with you. So it's great.
Yeah, and one of the most desirable fields in the world. I think it's what, 60% of all Gen Z expect to be paid creators at some point in their life, something like that. So yes, definitely that kind of being able to up level people that are great is awesome. And Meredith, thank you. I was about to ask for you to answer that question, but you already did in the chat in terms of linking to Apollo. Rocket Reach is also awesome. I highly recommend people find a good service in order to get emails and phone numbers for people. Get good at cold calling and cold emailing too. I love this question, and it comes with a little context. I'm a PhD researcher about content creators' labor conditions. Amazing. I would like to ask, are there relevant pieces of legislation already applicable to your sector? And is there something new coming up? I have no clue if anybody on the panel has context into this, but if you do, oh, Larry just raised his hand.
Well, there's a couple of things. We're working with one of our clients who was just in front of the Utah State Legislature talking about vlogging and kids that are in vlogs, and how do you protect them? How do you create Coogan accounts, what they have in SAG and stuff like that? But the one thing about labor conditions, a lot of, and this is really important for a lot of creators who are listening in, a lot of creators, if they sign on with a management company, they're asked to sign like a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract or whatever. Our contracts are always, you can get out of them. I mean, if someone doesn't want to be rep by someone, you can't force them, right? And under California law, literally under the labor law, you can't force someone to stay in a management contract. So that is really important to understand in terms of the laws. I mean, Hunter March, I would keep under a contract, and not let him go. But, everyone else is like literally under California state law, you can't be forced to be in a management relationship or a representation relationship.
Yeah, and the great Mikey Glazer, who's listening in, who's a lawyer, said truth. So he absolutely agrees with that. And as do all of us who have had lawyers call us and say, hey, my person wants to get out. Our answer always has to be, cool, you gotta.
Yeah.
At Will State.
I would also say, just to double down on what Larry said, a good manager or any sort of partner should kind of say that in the beginning. They should say, and it's happened with me, it's like, hey, listen, what happens if I want to get out of this? You can leave whenever you want. We don't want to work with you if you don't want to work with us. Because if they do say, well, it's a 1-year obligation or 2-year, 2 years is nuts. Think about your entire career is probably, as a creator, oftentimes less than 2 years. And your channel reiterates so much that the latest iteration is probably only a few months. So to say that for 2 years, you and I are the perfect partners. So if they really harp on that, if they're like, our contracts are pretty stiff, even knowing what Larry just said about you being able to get out, that's a huge red flag. You should find someone who values what they do enough to be like, listen, we have full faith you're going to love working with us. And if it doesn't, it's just not a good fit. And if they don't say that, run.
I've come across, like, look, we've all signed clients, we've all lost clients, those who are reps on the thing. I lost a client. It was a tough one in terms of figuring this out, and I owned it, right? But I actually helped find them a manager that was a great fit for them. And that's important.
I love that. Another question, which I think that this one could be interesting for Dylan, because I know that you are deep into biz dev to the point where I see you literally everywhere where creator economy people are gathering. Do you know of any teams out there that are helping people find teams or ad hoc teams or fractional teams that you can just kind of plug into?
There's a lot of like websites out there for the creator space now. I think Roster is one. That's Sherry's company. There's a few others. Obviously, for us at Reach, we have 3,000 students who want to be in the creator space. So we've been an amazing pipeline for a lot of companies in the creator space that want to hire videographers, talent managers, PR, etc. But there's a lot of tools out there, and I think what's great is that the creator space is so small as well that a lot of individuals, especially if you're a creator, we share a lot of people amongst friends. So, my videographer might be my friend's videographer as well, because that helps kind of the economy grow. That helps that videographer because I'm not filming 24/7. It helps the economy go up, and as well as that person has more sustainable revenue for themselves because they're working with multiple creators at once. So I mean, the economy is so small that people are able to share resources. I like to say that, for a lot of the creators in Los Angeles, a lot of them know who the videographers are in LA, who the editors are, the people doing clips on Twitch. Yeah, I mean, sharing is super, super key, at least for creators trying to grow and scale, and it builds community as well.
I love that. Absolutely. Does anyone else have any hot tips? Here's one that I have for you, Discord, right? Discord has a lot of really great servers for thumbnail editors and things like that, where they're just like rolling quick deals like, hey, I've got an extra free 2 hours. I do it for $80 a thumbnail. Who wants it, right? Like, I'm in some of those servers. They're fantastic. Anyone else have any hot tips on where to hire?
I mean, you can call me.
Oh,
You can call
creator.
Meredith.
Well,
That's what I was hoping you'd say.
I love what Creech is doing
Mhm. Yeah.
with the creator economy job listing.
Yes. CreatorEconomyJobs.co is his
That's
newsletter.
a great resource.
Great resource. Absolutely. Um, there's an interesting question here because it kind of goes the other way around. And Peter Hollens, I think that you might be a good person for this. But if you are somebody who wants to work on a creator team, if you are this videographer thumbnail person and you want to get the attention of somebody like you or someone like Hunter or like another creator, what should you do? Oh, you're muted still. There.
I know, it's just because it's so loud here. Two things I would add to the last one by saying I've had such incredible success hiring overseas with just some of the most amazing people, and you can overpay them and then they stay with you, and it's absolutely lovely. So wholeheartedly support hiring in the Philippines. Has been my favorite. I had so many negative connotations initially, and now I have some amazing people I've been working with for 5 or 6 years and being able to support them and their families, and that's been amazing. As far as ways in which you can get a hold of people, I think it's so important for team members, people who would like to be team members, to literally send video messages directly in cold outbound, or be recommended vis-a-vis friends and then send video messages. I feel like that's how you really can get to know people and understand whether or not this is somebody you would gel with, that they come across personable, that they're trustworthy. I mean, I think most creators truly do have really good EQ. And if you have somebody approaching you in the same similar style way that you every single day work on your own content, I don't know. I've always really loved that, and that's always shown to prove like really high retention with my teams. Yeah.
I love that. And Hunter, I know that you. Oh, sorry. You go ahead, Larry.
No, it's gonna, we do what Hunter does. We have a great internship program. It's a whole program. We bring people in. They work with us for a semester or 2 semesters. The cream of the crop we wind up hiring because they're built within our culture and we have an understanding.
Absolutely. And I know, Hunter, you were talking about the intern pipeline. What are the interns that make you want to hire them? What do they do to truly stand out?
I mean, we've had some like very lucky breaks there. Like we had one guy who everyone submits through this like online thing we created just on our website. He says what he wanted to do. I rarely check it because I'm busy building a business, and hiring does take time and training does take time. But when we do check it, it's been nice. But I didn't see his email, or I didn't see his submission. He emailed me, and all I responded with was, hey, we're super busy, but if you want to tell us like why you'd be a good hire, it's something I could talk to my business partner about for the internship. And he sent back a 60-second, fully edited, like TikTok video being like, this is why I want to work at Poppy Studios. And again, that comes because we've created a community of like, our videos are our whole ethos. You know, if you've read like Traction and you come up with your one-liner for your company is make fun content, have fun doing it. And luckily for us, that's a really appealing workplace. Another way to hire, which is really unique, but I think it could be applicable to other situations, is people steal our content all the time. People post it to TikTok and they end up with literally, we have videos of our content on TikTok that have 50, 60, 70 million views. And if they're not our videos, like, you know, someone on someone, and it docks us, then TikTok thinks we're stealing content. And if anyone has a connection at TikTok, please let me know because we've yet to be able to figure this out. Okay, Phil, great. We're going to chat. But sometimes we'll reach out to those people who are doing really well, who just understand the zeitgeist of what works on social. We'll reach out to them and we'll say, hey, we'll hire you to do our clips. Stop stealing them and we'll pay you X dollar per clip. It's happened twice now. These people end up being really effective. And then, you know, that's a little bit more of a risk as opposed to kind of building someone internally. But it's like they've proven themselves. They've done this thing. So if anyone's stealing your content, this very unique situation, feel free to hire them.
I also wanted to jump in quickly because I realized I thought that your question, Phil, was the question that then Peter answered, so I got turned around. But in terms of if you're a creator looking to hire professional services, I did launch a whole suite of like breaking it down based on what it is you're looking to do. So if you want to sell IP, like if you're a creator and want to sell a movie, but you don't have an entertainment infrastructure, then part of my service is connecting you to entertainment industry professionals who can help you develop that. If you want to write a book, I can help you get there. If you want to launch a newsletter, those kinds of things. And then if you want content support, I'm with Dylan on the roster is the place to go. So I call Sherry if you call me for the content support.
I love it. I love it. And we only have 5 minutes left. So if you have any last questions, please put them in chat. But I really want to talk about an elephant in the industry room, which is AI. A lot of people say AI is going to be able to take a lot of things that would otherwise go to jobs. Are you already preparing, especially on the creator side or even on the team member side, for AI to come in and disrupt these jobs or change these jobs? And if so, what jobs do you think are safer than others to hire now, and which ones do you think will be redundant in the next 3-4 years?
Can I like adjust the framing there?
Yeah,
I just think
totally.
it's so important for us to educate and work alongside our team members that we really love and trust, and teach them on how to ingrain and interweave AI into the fabric of what they do on the daily. It's been so fun in getting my team members advanced subscriptions to, you know, like the top 3 large language models, Anthropic, OpenAI, and Gemini, and allowing them to play with it all the time. You know how we always used to tell people, like, don't ask me this question, just go Google it. It's pretty much the same thing. And you can kind of go back and forth between these large language models and get anything and everything you could possibly want. And now that these agents are allowed to actually take over your screen, it's going to get really crazy really quickly. And if you already have a core team that you trust, that you know work hard, teaching them how to become 10 times more productive, I think is like the ultimate key. I don't think it's at all about replacing and like pointing out a specific vertical, but like diving in like deeply with each and every single one of your employees and teaching them how to become more productive, and always getting their answers. Anyway, that's just my thought process.
What I've seen on my side, at least, because I've been asked this question from every single panel I've done in the last 2 years. There's always been an AI question. I've always been a big advocate of AI. I think of it almost like a calculator, where it's a paintbrush in the toolkit. It's always going to be something that's here to stay, but you can help yourself be more productive. The creator space is a very creative industry. So a lot of what AI does, a human has to kind of be the manipulator of AI for it to be done. For ChatGPT, the best way you're gonna get the best response is you yourself refine the best verbiage to prompt ChatGPT. That's similar for all the other tools that are out there for creators that are leveraging AI. I think that you're always going to need a handler to manipulate the AI technology And the best teams right now are the ones who are already getting started, already educating themselves on the different use cases of these different AI platforms and leveraging it to help them scale up and, like Peter said, be more productive.
Yeah, preach. My least favorite thing I always hear is, well, I used AI and the output was garbage. It's like, maybe today, but learning it now will be preparation for the future. So,
And listen,
um,
and
yep, go ahead.
the real answer right now is just abundance of context of whatever you're going after. It's no longer actually about prompting. Truthfully, this new iteration of GPT Pro, not only does it tell you when your prompt sucks, it then gives you the recommendation at the end of it after they actually give a killer answer because it's actually really dope. Too expensive, but really good. And then tells you like the ways in which you should have actually asked the question. So whilst just using it, it's educating you on how to actually ask the question better next time. But it's literally just like, if you think you need to ask this much of a question, I know visual versus like context isn't helpful. You like grab the entire thing. You're like, I don't want to have this part of the cookie. You just grab the entire like dough and you're like, I'm going to throw everything in. And it truly does work now. It's insane. So anyway, hi.
Well, if you haven't tried the new ChatGPT stuff, because they've been announcing new things every day for the past week, there's a lot of interesting stuff there. Look it up in the news. There's great, especially the new Sora model. I got to play with it and it's super fun. Anybody else? We've got 2 more minutes, so I know Larry. I know that AI is disrupting your world, and especially when it comes to the affiliate marketing side. I don't go a day without an AI-based affiliate marketer reaching out to me. So, have you started implementing it into your workflows?
It's funny because we were just talking about it last night at our dinner where I want to enable a couple of our team members to be our AI experts, right? I do think our team needs to understand it. For me, I right now I look at it like, okay, I could barbecue a steak as a chef, me, but then you can also cook a steak in a microwave like AI, and it's like, all right. But like I understand that it is changing, so I want my team to be empowered and understand where it's all going, so that we can be helpful, more helpful to our clients.
I love that. And you can cook a steak in the microwave with the right marinade. Just throwing it out there. I would love to go around the horn with one more sentence for just one piece of advice that you give to somebody who's starting to hire for their team. So we'll start with Hunter.
Man, I didn't want to go first. You know, I feel like so much of what was said today is kind of a summation of it's all great advice. This is a great one. This is something that just wasn't said today, and it doesn't necessarily apply to every hire, but there was one girl that I just hired who, again, she reached out, was adamant. I thought she was a stalker. I was like, you're sending a lot of emails. And I decided I very tentatively was like, I'll respond to an email. Then I was like, okay, I'll take a call, not even a FaceTime. I was that worried that this person was going to kill me. And then as soon as I started talking, she just told me how much of a fan she was of this style of content. And I gave her like a little task to do. And she crushed it above and beyond anything that even I could have done it. I'm such a like, I can do it better than anybody else. That's why I am doing these things. And then I heard afterwards, this was, I think Zuckerberg maybe, or someone, but was saying, one of the hardest things with hiring is hiring the right people. And especially it matters more when you're hiring people at more advanced levels, but hire someone who you don't have to worry about. Like hire someone who is going to do the job and you don't have to be over their shoulder. Sometimes, right? Like if you're training someone, it's different. But if you can find this person that you don't have to worry about, then it really is a hire. If you hire someone that you're going to have to kind of double guess all their work because they were maybe half the cost of someone else, that's not a hire. You just have kind of still occupied your time. So, and that is the end of the sentence.
No, I love that. That's a good piece of advice. Dylan, what is your piece of advice to people starting to hire?
Yeah, I think on the creator side, I always think of creators as their own entrepreneurs running their own business. And I think it's very synonymous with starting your own startup is the same way that you are going to bring on your first employees in your startup, your first 12 employees in a startup are your most essential people to dictate what your company culture looks like. That's the same thing in the creator space, especially as a content creator. At least, for right now, is if you're early on, get some people 1099, have them help you out, grow, and then eventually you can scale upwards to bring on, your first full-time employee. That's what I think is very essential to kind of visualizing what the creator company should look like for you as a creator.
I love that. Very cool. Meredith, what is your one piece of advice?
Open up a Word document and write down everything that you need to do and achieve in the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, like task by task in minutia detail. And then look at that, figure out, okay, this is what I want to hire someone for, and then create an actual job description for that person and use that to guide who you're talking to and whether or not they're going to be a good fit.
God, my left brain loves that so much. Thank you. Larry, what's your piece of advice?
For me, well, it depends, because if you're building a team within your company, it is about trust and communication, and also making sure that your company culture is one that invites people and where they feel that they have the room to grow, right? It is all about communication, and it is about trust. When I hire for my company, I like to be the dumbest guy in the room, right? Because you want your team to feel empowered. You want them to feel part of the process and part of the growth and the wins. So it's all about really enabling that teamwork.
I love that. And Peter, close us out. What's your piece of advice?
I love Meredith. The problem, Meredith, is that I need to hire an ops-minded person to then get that out of me and then put it into the Word doc for me. I think, a lot of us need to start off at a certain place, and a lot of that usually is like a junior level or like an EA, chief of staff type of a thing, in my opinion, is like the way to go. And I just think it's so much that falls on personality. I love and I've found so much success with like making a video, just like one take, talking to the person on the other side of like the hiring platform, and being like, I want you to make a video just like this. I want you to tell me about yourself. I want to tell you about why you want to work with me. I want to tell you about like the things that you love. And I want to just see their personality. Like I need to see that. I feel like you can skip so much by the first iteration being where you like, I see this person. And then like, putting something into like the document side of the job description where you have like a sentence that's like, make sure you say this thing in the video, so that like maybe they pay attention to like the small specifics, and like having that be additional signal. There's a lot of just small things, but just like I want this person to be human, and I want to like be like, am I going to gel with this human? Because like, man, these small teams, you like are so embedded into like who they are and who you are, and it's like you're a family, and if it works, you are a family in some capacity. Anyway, that's one thing. Okay, but Meredith, this idea is great if you actually have an operational mind that can do that, because I don't.
It doesn't have to be a fancy job description. Don't go on LinkedIn and try to hit the bullet points that they ask you. Like, just make a list. You can do it with numbers, you can do it with bullets, you can do it without any of that. It can be a stream of consciousness. It just helps to get it on paper.
Yeah, and if you need an operational minded person, just hit me up. I'm here.
Yeah.
But yeah, just one piece of advice on my side. I've done now, God, hundreds of hirings in the past 20 years in the creator economy. And I think that it's most important to find somebody who doesn't just view this as a job, but as a passion, right? Like we work in the kind of industry where people are passionate about it. Not to say people who are actuaries are not passionate, but not all of them are. That's for them, it's a job. But to go in the creator economy, look, there's other places where you can make money. There's easier jobs out there. There's more straightforward paths. There's a lot of people out there that just want it really badly. Dylan knows a lot of them, because if you're the type of person who's giving up your college years to join Reach and work really, really hard to start building your career at that point, you really, really want it. So if you can find those people who are just like, they wake up in the morning and they go, what's happening on YouTube? They read Tube Filter, they listen to Creator Upload, they listen to great podcasts by everybody on this panel, and they're showing up to the events. Those are the kind of people that if you start working with, they'll inspire you, you'll inspire them, and you can really build together. So There's my diatribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for being on the panel. Amazing people. Please follow them on LinkedIn, send them DMs, and start building those relationships now. And again, thank you so much for the Creators Guild of America. They're an awesome advocacy organization, and Josh is going to tell you more.
Phil, thank you so much. And thank you to our panelists, Hunter and Dylan and Meredith and Larry and Peter, and to all of you who attended. All of us here at the CGA believe in our mission and vision, which is creators are shaping how people interact with the world, right? And our mission is to empower, promote, and protect this boundless new generation of entrepreneurs. So if you would like to be part of that, if you'd like to be part of the CGA, you could head over to the creatorsguildofamerica.org, which Marianne just put in the chat. Make sure to follow us on those socials. Make sure to follow everybody else. We have a lot of really exciting stuff coming up in the new year, including some in-person events. So we can't wait to see you there. Again, thank you so much. You can also sign up for our newsletter as well. And we hope you all have a great rest of your Friday, and we'll see you at the next one. Phil, everyone, thank you so much. Thanks again, everyone.
All right.
Goodbye.